I'm Kathy Applehans. I am with Connecting Kids to Meals, and this is the training for the Child and Adult Care Food Program, CACFP, or as we fondly call it, the After School Server Training. And I do that. I will also be probably your monitor. You guys have been with us for summer and after school, probably 7 or 8 years now. So kudos to you. Kudos to us for a great partnership, and we've reached a lot of kids. On the left side of your folder, you will see our mission statement. I'm going to let you read that yourself. Our goal is to reach every child between 1 and 18 for meals who are underserved, in need, at risk. As we all know, after school lets out, kids don't eat. You guys were with us during the summer, and kudos to all of you, because with our 60 approximate summer programs, we fed over 600,000 meals just in a 10-week period. Last year, when the pandemic started in 2020, summer started in March for us, and summer of 2020 and 21 lasted all the way until Memorial Day weekend, and we served 875,000 meals in parks, libraries, schools, as you all know, and this summer, thankfully, most of the public school systems allowed programming during the summer. Last year that wasn't allowed, so we reached a lot of kids. If you want to know your individual numbers, we're tallying those still. You can call and ask somebody, and we'll make sure that you get something. Second page is our 3 programs that we have. We have a summer meal program that you were involved in. It's overseen by the USDA. We receive some funding from them. We have to follow the guidelines of them and the Ohio Department of Education, ODE. And this is part of that program, is training for the after-school program, CACFP. We are in right now. That started I think summer ended Friday, August 13th, and Monday we had the day off, and Tuesday we swung full steam into after-school programming. The after-school program, we provide hot and cold meals. We have 60 sites already who are clamoring on board, so we're probably going to exceed our summer number of sites that was 61. We also have a year-round shelter meal program. We offer that program breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the CRC, Children's Resource Center, here in Bowling Green, because they have programming during the day hours. They also have a nighttime program where some teens are sheltered overnight. Mostly teens. Once in a while they have 11 and 12-year-olds, but a lot of them are behavioral or court appointed. And we have 3 shelters in Toledo that are family shelters. So that's a little bit about that second page. Don't have to memorize that, but food for thought. The next page you should have is list of people. I'm on the bottom, and that's fine, because the only thing I do is I go out in the field, I monitor, I check on sites, I field questions, and I also do training. The program person at the top is Caitlin. You might want to circle her or your staff that's with you. She is the go-to girl. She collects all of our numbers, answers most of your questions, and paperwork needs to go to her. And we'll talk about paperwork in just a little bit. You guys were absolutely fabulous with your paperwork. I don't think we had, I think there was only a couple of sites that were a little tardy on paperwork in the summer, and that was pretty readily fixed. It was just kind of an oversight. But try and get your numbers in every day. Call Caitlin or email her. Let her know how many you have one day, because we are starting preparation for food the following day. So if you've only got 8 kids starting out in your program, and I think most of you guys, the maximum is 50 in your programs, or 40. If we're preparing 40 meals and you're only using 8, there's a whole lot of meals that are getting junked, and we don't get reimbursed for those. So we can't operate in a negative balance. Caitlin is your go-to girl. Victoria Sims is the program coordinator. She took over my spot from a couple of years ago, and graciously has accepted the job as program coordinator for this year. Servers and delivery service, we will be delivering to you. Most of you know your delivery person, who is Yvette. Yvette's past history, she was a charter bus driver. She drives down I-75 every day to drop off food for you. We did have one site in Fremont that you were a drop-off site at the Wood County Educational Services Center building, and that worked out pretty well. A couple hitches, but worked out pretty well. Get to know Yvette. She's a pretty animated gal, and she's fun to talk to, and she's got kids going to Ohio State and Akron U. Get to know your driver. Once in a while, we'll throw in a new driver, because sometimes Yvette will have a day off. If they're going to be late, they're going to be late. I'll tell you right now, if you've got inclement weather and it's not Yvette that's coming, they're going to be late. So be mindful. It's not going to be the next day that they show up, but they may be a little bit late because they haven't been around to your schools, your sites. The next person, meal planning and preparation, is Linda. She's the one who coordinates our menus according to ODE guidelines. You will see more vegetables in your CACFP after school meals because they tell us that we have to. Kids don't like vegetables, but we're trying to educate them, and this is what a good meal looks like. So be mindful of that. No, they don't have to eat it, but you do have to serve it. The monitor and lead trainer is me. If you have questions, sometimes I have to come out, and there's a few sites that are a little snarky, and they aren't timely and not doing things according to Hoyle or the ODE. So that's my job, is I'm out in the field. And I help coordinate things in the office. It's not all I do. But I'm out in the field most of the time. Right side, site supervisor section. If you are a site supervisor, there are a few things that you need to know. You are responsible for paperwork. Even though you have a server who is helping you, you are responsible for making sure that the paperwork comes in, that it is signed, that temperatures are on the sheets. They're done timely and done before you start serving. I want to just give you a rough overview. The next page, Child and Adult Care Food Program Overview. It looks like this. Hopefully it's in order in your manuals, because I threw these together rather quickly, and I'm not an office person. And I don't like to alphabetize stuff either. But this is just a simple overview of the child nutrition program, what it takes to qualify, and it's pretty stringent guidelines. Under child nutrition program up at the top, this is under the USDA and also ODE. Eligible sites are those who have kids at a 51% poverty level. That's been waived this year. You can be above the 51%, and you have a couple elementary schools that we hope you'll look into. But that's how you qualify. They have to offer educational services. It's not like summer, even though you all had educational programs. Summer was grab and go with the pandemic. We didn't take names in Toledo, and we didn't offer any educational or sports services, no physical education. Here is a different requirement. You have to have something planned in order to qualify. Next paragraph, annually required enrollment paperwork. I know all of you have signed some things. I know that Taylor's been really busy signing the 4 or 5 required documents. And you will not start until we receive those documents. And I think we've got everything from the CRC, I do believe. I know some of your schools were still waiting for fire and health inspections. The school's not open. There's not going to be anybody there to get them for you, but we may be seeking that. You'll hear from Victoria if we still need those. And I think just about everybody needs them if you haven't sent them in. Required daily paperwork, I'll let you read that for the program. Call Caitlin your numbers and send her the white copy. You can keep the yellow copy. I don't know if you scan them all too or how it magically appears, but we've never had any problem getting copies of your paperwork. Save your yellow copies, organize it at your site. Make sure it's in a notebook, a folder, because if I come to your site, or when I do, I'll need to look at those. And what I have to do is a 5-day look back on the day that I visit, 5 days prior to that, to make sure your numbers and paperwork is all filled out correctly. If it hasn't been sent to Caitlin, okay, but I'll take note of that. And if my white copy at the kitchen doesn't match your yellow copy, ODE, if they request that, and they will probably within a few months of us starting, if those numbers don't match, they will void the entire reimbursement to us for that day. So numbers have to match. For summer, I think I just peeked at them. I didn't really look at numbers to make sure they matched up. That was Caitlin's job. This program is my job because you've got actual students' names attached to them. Question?
How long do we keep those records?
We keep those records for 3 years. You should keep. You can get rid of those. You can get rid of those. If it's during the school year, yeah, get rid of them. I've been with Connecting Kids since 2007, and I don't ever remember ODE requesting records from 3 years prior. I don't know if it's because we're that good, they're that lax, or we don't have the time or the necessity to do that. We've never had a major violation, which that would be one of them, if we don't have adequate records. But we keep them for 3 years and then we purge them. We send them off to Lot Industries and shred them. So if you've got them from 2018, go ahead and get rid of it. I would keep those yellow copies. I don't know where you're going to put them, but I would encourage you to keep them. We have a copy, but we don't have the yellow copy. So if there's a discrepancy, there's no comparison for ODE. Yeah.
So shred the white ones after 3 years, keep all the yellows.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you guys do keep the white ones as well. You just take a picture or scan it. Yeah, I would keep the whole thing. Just put it in a box somewhere and mark it. Yeah, put in the corner of the women's restroom or something, where, or the men's, there's not as many men. Next page, role of the after-school site supervisor. This is for all of you who are on site. I'm going to let you read this yourself. It is very, very simple. You're in charge. You sign paperwork. You don't serve anybody over the age of 18. We don't do babies. If babies would happen to come into your site, they should be at least 1 year old that they can manage meals with mom's help or dad's help. Make sure you start and end on time, and you supervise your other staff. If you are on site and you've got somebody that's helping you serve, they do not have to be trained as long as you are on site. This is different. You are on site and you're quote unquote supervising them. They can do anything that you want them to do. You sign the paperwork though, and you're responsible if it's incorrect. Next page, meal site required postings. Some of you have in your folder a green, on the left side, a green and Justice for All poster. That should be posted at your sites. If you don't have one, I have laminated ones. I'll send them out with our drivers because sometimes after summer ends, custodians take everything down and it's a clean slate. Let me know or let Victoria know or call Caitlin at the office and we'll send a laminated one out for you. You also have to post your current monthly menu or the daily menu, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Next page, civil rights of the nutrition program. This is your civil rights training, and the only thing is that you have to serve all children 1 to 18. If you have a walk-in, great. Seldom do you have walk-ins because you've got an enrolled program and it's usually a locked building. But if mom would come in to pick up Wally early for a dentist appointment, you can send that meal out the door and you can send one with the brother who happens to walk in with mom. So there is no requirement to eat on site. Those are pandemic rules, a little bit changed. These are grab and go. All meals have to be served within the appropriate meal times. You have 5 minutes before starting and 5 minutes after to serve. If you're serving from 3 to 3:30, you can start at 2:55, but you have to be done by 3:35. If somebody comes in the door, such as North Baltimore, sometimes they straggle in a little late, or you have a family that maybe because of inclement weather, they were a little late getting there. Let them have a meal. If you've got leftovers, just don't count it because it's outside your serving time. All meals have to be complete, one of each food item on the plate. We are not plating food. Yay, again this year because of pandemic, they are encouraging non-congregate meals. Most of your sites, you guys do a terrific job keeping these kids kind of separated and at tables. We will be wearing masks. I will be wearing a mask if I'm coming to your site. That's not been mandated. That's a personal choice, but I can tell you that 95% of our people and employees at our site have been vaccinated. I'm looking forward to the booster because I'm starting to get a little nervous. Being around kids, I don't know when you guys got yours, but mine was completed in March, and yeah, the numbers are looking a little scary. There's an example, the next page, it might be in your packet, it might not, weekly attendance sheet. You guys have your own way of taking attendance, but this is something that ODE approved, so I put that in there as an example. Server section, this is for everybody who's helping you and for you. Setting up meals, we're going to go through this a little bit quick. What you need to do is be on site at least 15 to 30 minutes, or whenever your boss says you need to be on site to set up correctly. You need to make sure that what you have belongs to you. The delivery sheet, sometimes, I know during the summer, there was a couple times that Elmwoods and Eastwoods might have been mixed up. You might have gotten one of the Boys and Girls Clubs, seldom does it happen, from Toledo down here in your area. Once in a while, our driver grabs something that she or he has packed in the van, grabs the wrong thing without looking and comes into your door. So you might get the CRC stuff. Theirs is pretty small, so you're going to be really gypped on what you get. So make sure before Yvette leaves that you've actually got what you need. Call the kitchen if something is missing. It shouldn't be if you've checked it as it's come in your door. Clean the serving area, put on a hairnet if you need it. You guys' hair is all fine. Mine is probably not. I usually wear a ball cap or I pull it back. I'm not serving, so it's not a big issue. Monty, I would just pull yours back as long as it's not. And Hillary, as long as it's not hanging over, there's nothing more gross than finding hair in your meal. All these are prepackaged. There's no scooping and plating, so hair's not a big issue. But ODE in the health department likes to have your hair pulled back or up or under a hat. Make sure each food item is on the plate. Here's how we do this. We are packaging everything. Everybody is getting a dinner and a snack. So that's how we package it during our production. We've got about a fourth of the staff we had for this summer. So you will have dinner whenever you serve dinner. ODE says it's all grab and go, even though they don't realize a lot of you guys are doing congregate meals. If you want to serve that snack as they're walking out the door, you can do that for them to take home. If you've got an extended program, and I think most of the most of your ESC CLC sites are, they run from 6 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m. at night. Is that still?
Yes, during school year, they'll go to school.
Okay. When is most of your programming done?
6:30 to 9 a.m. and then 2 to 6 or 3 to 6 p.m.
Wow, so you're done then at 6.
Yep.
If you want to serve those kids dinner at your time that's been designated, 3 to 3:30, 4 to 4:30, you don't have time for a snack afterwards, let them take that snack home. The only thing you're going to have to do is dismantle it, though, and put it somewhere. And then you have to remember to count it. But if it's...
breakfast again?
No, those snacks are going to be a juice box and a whole grain cracker or some kind of cracker product. That's it. Send it out the door. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. You can put it on a shelf for inclement weather days. Do what you can to save those and guard those. And some of you may still have stuff left over from summer. So those are perfectly fine. You can mix and match them. If you want, if there's a kid that would rather have Doritos, Nacho Doritos, man, I would. Rather than a graham cracker, let them have it. Just make sure you count it on your count sheet. Your attendance sheet should include who got dinner and a snack. And every child who's in your program, with rare exception, should have both of those meal sheets completely filled out. They should match exactly the same if we're only getting one attendance sheet. So make sure everybody's counted for dinner and snack. Start serving the meals at your state-approved time. Mark off the number on the count sheet. We'll go over that real quick. Complete and sign the meal count sheet. Clean up, empty and wipe down your pan Cambros. You may see those coolers coming again if you've got a cold. I think we're still doing subs on Wednesday. I haven't even looked at the menu. I'm in vacation mode yet. Empty and wipe down your food pan and return the completed sheet and call Caitlin by the next day. Next page, it says meal serving in orange at the top. The first section is the most important section. Everything else is on the stuff that we just went over. Food can go off-site, like I mentioned. Number 2, under preparing to serve, you need to set out your plates, your sporks, room temperature food, such as chips, juice boxes, whatever you have that's room temperature. Don't temp bread. Don't try to temp an individual carrot pack. what you do is you check the milk, throw that away, clean your thermometer, check your hot food, and if you've got buns, if you've got chips, please don't try and temp them. A carrot pack is going to be the same temperature as your milk. It's in the same cooler, and it's iced down. If you ever get a cooler that has more water than ice, you need to call us, because you should have ice at least 3/4 of the way up on your food, in your food products. All items have to be served to kids unless there's a documented food restriction. Food restrictions and preferences: if you have a child who is allergic to tomatoes, please don't give them our burritos, tacos, Italian stuff if you know they have an allergy. I've never but once had one kid with an allergy, and milk intolerance is not an allergy, it's an intolerance. We will substitute soy milk. It's not good. It used to be good. It used to taste like a vanilla milkshake. Now it's not so good. If you've ever drank soy milk, it's not like the soy milk you buy in the store that's loaded down with sugar. That's pretty good. I like that, but it's soy. If you've got kids that are allergic to peanut butter, that's a true allergy, and we need to know about that. We need a doctor's slip. We had one mom who filled out a slip, I think it was at Eastwood this year, that her kid had a peanut allergy. Her doctor didn't sign it, she signed it. No, we need a doctor's excuse or a doctor's notice or healthcare professional. Not a mom saying her kid can't eat potatoes, Doritos, juice boxes. It has to be a specific allergy. I'll tell you about the CRIM. Here at CRIM, we had a mom who insisted her child had a red dye allergy a few years ago, and it got pretty snarly. She called our office. She wanted all of the foods that had red dye in them eliminated for her child's diet. If I've got a child that is that sensitive, she better be packing a lunch. And this is what we decided, rather than make us responsible for what comes from the USDA as commodities for not having red dye in it, which is everything that looks tomatoey or Italian or Mexican. We said, Mom, you don't have a grievance here. You need to pack your own kids' lunch or let them do without. So that's the only one I've known of around here other than peanut butter. Question?
We had a peanut allergy for the summer, and parents who filled out the form.
Yep.
Do we need to resubmit that same form, or do they need to get a new one?
They can resubmit that same one. Yeah, if you've got that, yeah, just copy it and send it to us. Because if they had an allergy in June, they're still going to have one in October or whenever.
Sometimes getting to the doctor, those
Yeah. Just as long as it's not mom or grandma that's signing it, it's a healthcare professional clinic, anybody can sign it. I can't, but
And Caitlin has those.
yeah, I believe either Caitlin has them, they may be in the specific file, but we have to submit those to ODE as well, because they follow on compliance and all sorts of stuff. Next page, meal plan. This is your menu. It comes daily. We stopped doing the monthly menu, but if you want a monthly menu, you can go online. Starting September 1st, I believe it will be loaded. You can print that out, because kids always want to know what's the next day. You won't have one of these in your packet, because Kathy made these. You'll have a monthly menu example, but I wanted to show this to you. This does have, I'll leave that for you for scanning. Sure, but daily menu, okay? And it will have, this says breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yours will say dinner and snack. I apologize for that. I grabbed that from the wrong program. You will,
Like snack sheets to fill out? Or
yes, you will have two. It will be like summer where you had breakfast and lunch. You're going to have dinner and snack. Dinner is orange, and snack is yellow. I don't think you guys had them. We also do just cold dinners for some of our schools that don't have refrigeration and don't have any storage and don't have the time or effort. They get a cold menu, so that's just a picture of an example. And yes, you can have that. Dinner, orange. You should have a white one, and then on the back side, or you may have a separate copy that is yellow. The yellow copy is what you keep for 3 years. Dinner is what it looks like. You will see on the top, even though this says Homer Hannum, Boys and Girls Club, your name needs to be up there, your site. Number of meals received, you'll write that in. on the top left, and it should match the number on the bottom, which in this example is 50. So you don't have to count every single meal that comes in, but you should be able to eyeball by now, how many sites, how a cooler holds about 50 milks with ice. So you can eyeball that, and if you've only got a half of a cooler, you're going to be short. So eyeball it before Yvette gets out the door, because she usually carries extra. Make sure the date is correct. Sometimes in the summer we had kids who were helping us from different programs around the city. You get the wrong day, just cross it off, make sure it's really Monday, 12/4 or whatever day it is, but make sure you've got the right date up there. Caitlin has caught a few of them that have come in, realizing according to the menu that's on this sheet that it wasn't the right day up on top. And I don't think that happened too often this summer, but it happens. So what you will do is you will temp your food first down in the middle of the page. It gives you the menu that should match the menu that I just held up for you. Fairly close. You might have pears instead of peaches. You might have a different fruit juice instead of mandarin orange juice. You might have apple juice, but it should match fairly closely. We try to alter those and amend them before they go out the door, but sometimes we don't. We start this the day before. Someone starts hand filling this out. Our temperatures are already recorded. If you look on the back side or your yellow copy, I've circled in red for most of you what needs to be filled out. And what needs to be filled out is the supervisor, who would be all of you. If you are off-site, whoever is helping you for the day and serving in your behalf, they are the site supervisor. Their name needs to be printed there. Site signature is to who served the food. If one of your helpers is serving food, please don't let them sign this if they have not been trained. Please, you sign it, because what Caitlin does to me when she sees an odd signature, she comes to me and says, "Oh, Kathy, please tell me, is this person trained?" And that happened frequently during the summer, not at your sites. But the reason I had you sign a training form is because ODE looks at this signature. And we just sent all of your summer signatures to them because they requested them. They're going through page by page, piece by piece, making sure that whoever I trained, and I had hundreds of people, their signature matches what is on here. And if they don't match, they're not going to reimburse us for that whole day. So your signature has to be on there. It's a little thing, and that's their responsibility at ODE to make sure that those signatures match, but it's my responsibility to let you know if somebody's signing it and they haven't been trained, they're going to get caught. Now, maybe not by me. I don't look at every sheet, but Caitlin's going to try and catch it, and ODE will certainly see it. On the back of the yellow copy is everything circled in red for you that needs to be filled in. Please pay attention to the temperatures on the bottom that you fill in. Hot foods need to be 140 or above. Cold food needs to be 40 or below. Okay? Make sure that matches.
Number of meals discarded didn't need to be on there, did it?
It did, and we don't really look at it.
All right.
Caitlin fills that in when it gets back to you. If you want to fill it in and do a little math, that's great, but she'll fill it in. These sheets haven't changed in, I don't think, 8 years that you guys have been with us. They're the same. But yellow sheet, yellow copy is pretty helpful. You'll get a yellow copy like this that says snack on the top. Okay, the back looks the same, but you do have to fill them both out. They should match exactly unless you've got your meals dismantled, your snacks from your dinner, and you're just giving out snacks to walk out the door. I would encourage you not to do that. I would encourage you to serve the whole meal. Here's an example. There's a couple of examples in here of what we serve. If you want to take a peek at that, the monthly menu. These are obviously not current, but the menu is fairly repetitive every 3 weeks. A little sign in here if mom or dad or grandma or grandpa gets a little snarly about taking a meal home for them. We don't have that happen down here in Wood County much, but once in a while we do in Toledo. We got parents that are insisting that they're entitled to a meal. If you have to post this, post it. Children are 1 to 18 are who we are serving. There are places for adults to go for meals, for free meals, and we encourage our folks in Toledo to do that. If you've got folks hanging out at your schools who don't belong there, you need to report that. Your sites are usually locked. I know when I come, the office person usually recognizes me and lets me in, especially at Crim. I've never had a problem getting in. But once in a while, schools have people that hang out, and especially when they know there are children who they could be advantageous in socializing with them. So you see somebody, call somebody. Don't just assume it's a parent, a grandparent, and especially if the child's reaction indicates to you that, this is not who I belong with, intervene. Health and safety section, I'm going to let you read this on your own. Tells you how to calibrate your thermometer if you think it's wonky and it's not working right. Tells you how to calibrate it. The easiest way, get a glass of ice, not a cup of ice, but a glass of ice, a glass, or ceramic. Fill it with ice, put just a little bit of water in it, enough to cover the ice. Wait for 3 minutes, put your thermometer in. If it doesn't read below 40 degrees, you've got a wonky thermometer, and I've replaced so many of them this summer. They last about 3 or 4 months if you're using them every day, and then they die. So if you need one, let your vet know, call the office. They'll try and remember to throw one in. There was a couple sites started without any starter kits this summer, and I had no thermometers, but yet we're getting temperatures below 40 and above 140 because they know those are the rules. But let us know. Accidents and cleanup, there's stuff in here about if somebody throws up, somebody has a potty problem, how to clean that up, washing your hands. If you are storing food, milk overnight, I think sometimes Crim does. I don't know if your other sites do or not. Milk goes on the bottom of the refrigerator because if it drips, it's dripping over everything else. That's a no-no for the health department. They may come in and monitor you for Wood County. You are an exempt food service site according to ODE. You're not preparing your own foods, even though you have a food service license that we need from the schools. You are not preparing that, but you have to know how your refrigerator should be stacked up. Next page is an example of refrigeration safety. You can take a peek at that. And interesting enough, it doesn't show milk on the bottom. It shows no milk at all. I think that's interesting. Last page is calibrating, and the next page, cleanup guidance for vomit, fecal accidents, and food service operation. The final last page for extra recreational reading. You can go to the Wood County or the Lucas County Health site. There's a lot of pandemic stuff on there. Educate yourself. If you're saving stuff overnight, there is a daily temperature log, and some of these you should post this like Powell has faithfully done forever and ever. And Crim, post it on your refrigerator. Every day, take the temperature of your refrigerator. You should have a thermometer in there. We used to provide those. We don't anymore. They seem to walk away at a lot of sites. Go to the dollar store, buy one specifically for a refrigerator, throw it in the vegetable drawer because you're probably not going to be storing much in there anyway, and every day about the same time record your temp. That way you've got a thermal food chain record. Any deep burning questions? That was pretty quick.